So I spent many years trying to fix my mental health, my anxiety, and I found a way. I found a way. And that doesn't mean that the anxiety is gone. That doesn't mean that I don't feel bad, that I don't have bad days. Uh, Today I fought 2 times with my wife, and then we made up, and even though I fought with her, and I had financial struggles and bad things happened, I still had a great day, and I kind of don't regret anything about it. For a person that wants to have a perfect schedule, um, it's almost midnight and I'm still awake and I haven't finished my chores. So I'm not doing great by metric standards, but that's what I wanted to talk about. It popped into my mind the topic about meditation and how I tried it and it didn't fix my life, or at least how people tell it will fix you, right? Fix you, like there is something broken inside you. Um, my wife is going through something now. She has never done a real detox, right? Removing everything and see what remains. And she's finding it difficult. She's going through. It's better not to enter social media, but to distract with something less harmful, right? She's playing some stupid mobile games. And I'm not saying mobile games are stupid. I'm playing one, right? Clash Royale, when I have some time. But the ones that she's playing are very stupid. She tells me all the time, I don't know why I'm doing. It's just to be distracted of who she believes she is, right? You have the story of who you believe you are, and then you have who you are. And when you are inhabiting this story, you will always have anxiety. So let's circle down to the concept of meditation. Meditation is not something spiritual by itself. Meditation is just silence and being, basically. Being and seeing what you are. Because if you are, if you are, you will start finding these things that you are. Because if you are, you have to be something. And in meditation, this spiritual practice in which you cross your legs and put your fingers like this and put music and maybe go do it with someone or alone, that you have to have peace and it has to be a ceremony. In this moment, the only thing that you are doing is being, and that's it. And I think that's a big misconception that people have, that I had, about meditation. And I used to do it with expectation, right? So that basically defeats the purpose of meditation, which is being. Being is the contrary of expectation. Expectation is you should be something else. The situation should be something else, right? So of course I failed every time. I remember when I started meditating, I wanted to achieve a meditative state, or I wanted to achieve a spiritual awakening, or I wanted to receive information, or stuff like that, right? All the things that we used to see in the 2011, 2012 YouTube or Instagram or whatever social media was around, all these spiritual people that lived a spiritual life. And living a spiritual, you cannot not live a spiritual life, right? Like, existing is spiritual by itself. So there's no way that you can live a life that it's not spiritual. You can lie to yourself. You can have a story in which you are not a spiritual being, right? That you don't have a soul, that we are not connected with each other, that there isn't reincarnation, there isn't life after death, that there isn't karma, that there isn't a mission. You can do all that stuff, but life starts getting pretty meaningless. So people start looking for meaning, and that's where they find identity, right? That's where ego grows like a plant. And it's not that ego is bad, but ego proliferates where there isn't someone, where the soul is not latched, where there isn't a recipient for the soul, right? So our consciousness, our focus must be just in being or in holding that space so we can be, right? It's like you are playing several persons at the same time. It's a very interesting concept. I really like it, and sometimes it feels like, for example, when you're going through something, you have to be the one that holds space for yourself at the same time that you are being someone that needs to be held and have a space for it, and at the same time you are the awareness that is looking, these two identities holding space and receiving the space, and then you have someone else looking at it's like a whole thing, right? So why meditation doesn't work? It's not that it doesn't work, but it's not like you have to do a whole ritual, right? Meditation is not a ritual. Meditation is a state, right? It's a meditative state. You can be pondering, you can be paying attention to your thoughts, you can be feeling your body, how do you feel, tired, angry, whatever. And that is a meditative state. The pose is just superficial. You could be walking, doing sports, and you could still be doing that. The concept of meditation is kind of the stillness, but not of the mind, because the mind doesn't stop. You will always be thinking thoughts. The body will always be reacting and feeling feelings, creating feelings based on these thoughts. But I think that when meditation starts working is when you use it as a space of stillness, where you can notice that the results that you don't like come from a reaction to a rejection of a feeling. And the feeling comes from a thought, because you have to have thought to have a feeling. And then the feeling, the thought, the mind part, comes from a belief. So if you trace everything back, you can even go even back. The belief comes from a conclusion, and the conclusion comes from experience, right? And there, in the experience part, there are people that experience the same things, but will reach different conclusions. You can say that their household was different, or that they choose different missions, or that the soul wanted to experience different things. So choose whatever, choose the one that works for you, right? The important part here is experience, mostly joy, right? We know that we are aligned when we can be joyful and cheerful. Not happy. It's like, happiness. No. Because happiness, contrary of sadness, joyfulness is just the being, being drunk on life, right? That's the joyfulness. That doesn't matter what happens. You're just not content, but you accept it. Right, you're joyful, cheerful, because nothing can remove you from that accepting, and acceptance just brings peace, and after the peace comes that joyfulness, right? That everything is as it should be. So let's trace it back, right? So you have these experiences, soul, and whatever lead to conclusion, Conclusion, belief, yes. So you have this experience, then you make a conclusion about that experience based on what happened, and that conclusion becomes a belief, right? So when that belief, think it as a, not as a company, but something that produces, that as a factory, right? So you have several beliefs, and if they are good, if they are joyful, if they are free, mostly, if they are freeing, if they let your natural expression come out, right? If they don't hinder your soul or trap your soul, if they do that, they will bring good thoughts, and you will be happy. Have you noticed that in your life there are several topics or several situations in which nothing bothers you, you're happy? It means that you are not trapped there, that your soul can express itself openly. But there are others that you don't want to touch, that you don't want to experience, because that will make you feel bad. And we don't want to feel bad. No one wants to feel bad. So if we reach a wrong conclusion, one that traps our soul and doesn't let it express itself correctly, or freely at least, there's not a correct expression, we will reach a limiting belief. And since our soul wants to experience itself completely, whatever is limiting, in a sense, will just feel bad. It's not that it's wrong, it's not that it's right, but it won't feel good, right? So, yeah. I'm having my own thoughts, right, when I'm talking, and maybe even this whole concept of thinking it like this is a limiting belief by itself, because you are trapped in a duality, right? My father-in-law practices kind of stoicism, that everything is okay and you just have to experience and that's it. And I think it's the most freeing way of looking at it, but at the same time, it's not just black and white, but there are grays in what I'm talking about. For example, it's not as simple or of just, oh, then if this belief is wrong, let's say like that, it's wrong or it's limiting, I will just not experience like this and just change it and that's it. But the problem is that a belief is basically the lens through what you see life. So it's very difficult to change. Maybe you have a mind-shattering experience and that changes your belief or your lens. But at least I'm finding it very difficult. It's very difficult to change of old patterns because you have to bring truth constantly, and you have to know what's truth, or at least find out. I have found that Peter Crone is very helpful in this situation because he highlights pretty easily which are the prisons that he calls them. He has 10 prisons, and he kind of shows you that all these prisons are illusions, are imaginary, they don't exist. And since it's not that we didn't come here to experience all that, because there are people that have all these experiences that they die and they come back and they bring information, that they say that the soul chose certain experiences to shape itself and then starts experiencing maybe the overcoming, or maybe not. Maybe you don't overcome it in this life. So, in a sense, the easiest way, the easiest thing to do is just to accept wherever you are. But this rejection to accept is because we believe that we should be something else, that we should be somewhere else, we should have something else. So it's like the rejection of being who we are in the present. We always want to be either on the past or in the future, and in the past or in the future that we think that might be a past that should have been different, right? We're living in these two modes, and Stoicism, Taoism, and all the isms try to bring you to the present and just accept what is. and they have their reasons, and each reason is valid in a sense. Yeah, I just wanted to bring to your attention that meditation is not the end goal, but it's a tool to achieve being, to achieve seeing what you are being at the current moment and trying to go further back to who you are, right? And sometimes it takes a lot of work to remove the layering, to remove the weeds that grew on the walls of your house, and it's littered with insects and dust, and you have to clean it and paint it. But somewhere under there you are, right? Remember that we are all the nice expressions that we see ourselves. We are the happiness, and we are also the sadness. When you see it through this lens that we are, and nothing is bad, but nothing is good also, it frees us not only of not being something, but of being something. Joyfulness and hopefulness is the result of being free, of feeling free, of believing you are free, right? So it's not a matter that you have to put a happy face and meditate and all that stuff. It's that you have to find where there is friction, where there is hurt and pain, and use that to pull the string to where you are not free, right? So this video extended more than when I try when I want to do a video, but hopefully someone sees it, and if that someone sees it, that finds it useful. Certainly for me, it's a fun experience to record this video. So whoever watches it, thank you, and that's it. Learn to be, and to be okay with whatever you are experiencing, because what you are experiencing is not you. You are eternal. You are wonderful. You're everything. You're free. And these experiences are sometimes uncomfortable, are sometimes happy, or are delightful. But greet every experience with open arms, because every experience expands us when they go through us. And when we reject that process, we trap those feelings, right? And those become trauma. So let's all go through your body, feel them, and that's it. It's like the wave that comes and goes, right? So that's for this video. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.